Okay, let's very quickly talk about Charlie's Angels. You guys go for this first of all. Scott, I need your thoughts on this first of all.
I know I'm like the odd man out on the table on this one. I love this movie. I just had so much fun with it. I grew up watching the original TV show.
Yep.
And then I watched the 2000 and 2003 movie.
Was it the Chad?
Those were okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't a big fan of those. And I remember the TV show very fondly. Again, it's childhood memories. You watch it with family members and you remember it. This I just felt like was like the update that this movie needed. I thought that they did a great job casting the three lead girls. I love Kristen. I've always been a big fan of Kristen Stewart, but I love seeing her outside of her comfort zone here, doing something like wild and weird and different. And she had so much fun with it, and you can tell when you're watching the movie. I also thought for a movie like this, which had Elizabeth Banks directing, and I was not a fan of Pitch Perfect 2 at all. I thought she did a really good job handling the action sequences and blurring the lines of comedy and action. I just liked it.
Okay, Dimitri, it's all right. You don't have to apologize, Dimitri.
I did not like it as much as Scott did, albeit I did like the Angels. I thought that they were great. And to your point, I did enjoy Kristen Stewart. It's the first time I actually... She looked as if she was having fun, and she was great at that role. My biggest problem was with the story and the direction. It felt like something, it wanted to be a Mission Impossible. I felt the fight scenes were choreographed really well. I felt the action scenes were completely flat. I mean, how many times can we have an international car chase scene where the car ends up in the river? And then but just have it be so... There was nothing to it. And they were borrowing, you can tell. There were parts from Atomic Blonde had an amazing car chase sequence where the stakes were up. And then in Mission Impossible 3 where Tom Cruise is hanging out of the car. I didn't feel that she was able to direct the action really well.
You know why? Because she had a $40 million budget.
But a good director...
as opposed to $160.
But a good director can work with a great budget like that and make it seem like I haven't seen it before. But I like the cast, but that I will give the cast credit if they do go to a sequel.
They're not going to.
No, I mean, I want to, 5 minutes. I want to get to Ford versus Ferrari. It's kind of like a sliding scale of liking this movie. I agree with all of your points. I think the action was choreographed well, but shot terribly. I literally felt no excitement for this entire movie. And for a movie that is meant to be very pro, sort of pro women, I think this did a massive disservice to poorly written characters. I mean, for me, the best characters in this. I mean, the Angels were fine. It was good fun, and clearly everybody was having a blast making this movie,
Absolutely.
which I'm really happy for them, so that it wasn't an arduous experience. But watching this, I literally felt nothing. It's one of my least favorite movies of the year. I mean, like Patrick Stewart, I thought Patrick Stewart was great, but the guys are hammy. I just didn't like this movie. I mean, it's getting, so people are thinking about 13 million, maybe 15 million. We're not going to see a sequel. No. So if Sony were looking for a franchise with this, I'm sorry, this is stone cold dead. And there's a post-credit sequence, so there's a sequence in the credits, actually, which is actually one of my favorite parts of the movie, that if they'd had more of that shit in the film, I think it would have elevated it a lot and been a lot more enjoyable. Charlie's Angels, massive disappointment for me, but I'm...
You said the post-credit sequence, I'll give it the last 20 minutes, too, but that was because they were fight scenes. But whatever action there was... it was flat.
I could see what it was going for. It just didn't manage to achieve it. So there's a lot of stuff there, but they just didn't pull it off for me. So liked, thought it was okay. I did not like it at all.